T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
There's a bold new rhythm on SABC2, and it starts Monday, 9 February, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. A new vodcast, Our Space, fires up conversation with young perspectives. At 4:30 p.m., a new talk show, Ain't Let's Connect, hosted by Penny Lebiane and Fran Rico. At 7:30 p.m., Deal or No Deal, now in a new time slot, Raising the Tension with Katlego Mabuwe. At 9 p.m., the new telenovela, Pimville, starring Gil Mabalane and Tapelo Mokoena, brings bold Soweto stories to life. From 23 February at 7 p.m., settle in for new drama, Paradise, starring Losha Cooper, Ilse Klink and Zayn Mias. This is the new era of SABC2. Live in every beat, the pulse of SA. SABC2.
You are listening to The Full Circle.
I mean, if you're watching our stream and you obviously can see me fanning myself, it's not even perimenopause. It's just the heat outside and the fact that we are contending with not having air conditioning in this building of ours. So it's a lot. Smatle Mota, how are you doing this afternoon?
Good afternoon to you, Bridget, and thank you so much for having me.
I want to be where you are, because where you are, I know the aircon is on full blast and upolega mnandi.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just too hot.
Oh, it's very hot. What's going on for day 59 at the Madlanga Commission?
So I think what's been important for today is just more details that have emerged regarding the murder of Emmanuel Mbenze. And Emmanuel Mbenze is a businessman from Brakpan whose body I think we've heard multiple times from Marius van der Merwe, who presented himself as witness D, that Mbenze's body was dumped in a dam in Nigel on the instruction of Brigadier Julius Mkhwanazi. So we've really been sharing details surrounding that murder. But what we now know is that, according to the senior investigator from the iPage, Nomsa Masuku, she says that they could not, establish the presence of Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department vehicles outside the home of Mbenze. And as you previously know, that, Mkhwanazi was called to that house to clean up the murder scene. And I think that also corroborates some of the statement that we've also heard from Mkhwanazi's statement that was read by Masuku, saying that Mkhwanazi said he was called by a man called Yagu onto the scene. He did not enter Mbenze's, residence, and he only stood outside because this was a sex operation. And according to witness statement, the fact that on that day there were policemen, there was private security, as well as Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department. So that is what we know. But regarding this case, I mean, she also speaks about the sort of challenges that they encountered as the IPID. I mean, at even one moment, Bridget, she got so emotional where she was almost crying, where she was telling the commissioner to say this case and other cases that she's been seized with, threatened her life. At one point, she was driving along the N17 in Springs, and her car was being shot at, and at time I think there was even a moment that her son even suffered. So I mean, I think this also just speaks to sort of the evidence that has been presented before the commission previously about the dangers these investigators actually face when trying to investigate and get to the bottom of cases that involve very, very dangerous individuals.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm looking at some of the chatter that's happening as we speak, the live chatter on the YouTube channel for the Madlanga Commission. And a lot of people are concerned for Masuku. A lot of people are sharing sentiments of the fact that, given her demeanor and her physical stature, she was probably not taken seriously, easy to intimidate, easy to scare off or attempt to scare off. And I think that says a lot also about the kind of characters that we are dealing with, the kind of rotten and brazen criminality that we are dealing with at the South African Police Services.
Definitely. And I mean, these are people who are emboldened. And I mean, as allegations have stood before the Madlanga Commission to say that there's also a criminal element that's infiltrated law enforcement agencies, and these are guys that act without, with impunity. They don't even fear any repercussions. So I mean, even with her testimony going as far as she had some form of protection for 16 months because of how dangerous the case that she was working on was. I mean, even when she was getting these witness statements rather from the people who have been identified as being suspects in Benze's murder, there was a go and stop sort of process where even Mr. Gifela guy who had testified yesterday had told her that, there's so much heat around this, just lay low for a moment. So I mean, this is ultimately something that, a lot of these investigators are actually seized with, and the dangers that sort of come with their job as when they only want to do their job. So I think it was really, disheartening to see her in that emotional state and just how far these criminals had actually gotten, to even shoot at her and her child. So I think this is yet another element I thought we had exhausted before the Madlanga Commission, but I guess even other investigators who may present themselves before the Madlanga Commission may have a similar story to tell.
Absolutely. It would be interesting, Spasha, to see what becomes of, the Ekurhuleni Metro SAPS division, because it almost feels as though an entire overhaul is needed in that division from top to bottom.
I mean, we've seen with the evidence, Bridget, where we saw General Justin Nona, who it was proven through his testimony and cross-examination that these criminals haven't infiltrated, but they are working together with, the police officers, even with Witness F, who even went as far as going to court to sort of not present himself before the Madlanga Commission. So it's quite evident that, some sort of overhaul is needed. But I mean, I just get a sense that it will have to take apart everything else, and sort of put in new people. But I mean, that's not entirely possible. But you do also have some police officers who are doing their job. I mean, we've previously seen those who are in hiding that they do want to get to the bottom of some of these criminal cases. But it's really, really tough because senior police officers are actually in bed with criminals.
Absolutely. Sbahle, we appreciate your time as per usual. We'll catch up with you again tomorrow and round up the week that was. That was Sbahle Mota, SABC News reporter. It's fast approaching 20 past 1 o'clock on the Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga. We're going to take a quick pause and then we'll come back on the other side. And we quickly catch up with Linda Spear around the Symphony by the Water.
President Cyril Ramaphosa will on Thursday, 12 February, deliver the 2026 State of the Nation Address at the Cape Town City Hall. Tune in to the meeting point with Koketso Sachane with a special broadcast from 6 p.m., bringing you blow-by-blow coverage at the 2026 State of the Nation Address. Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
I swear, I think either my team or Linda Spear are trying to see how much patience I have. Are we good? Okay, let's catch up with spokesperson of Symphony by the Water, Linda Spear. We've been reminding you that there is going to be a celebration of music, art, and of course nature, set against a nature backdrop at Midmar Dam on the 7th of March. And they launched this week, so we thought we'd catch up quickly with Linda Spear around what the event entails. How are you doing today?
Hi, Sister. How are you doing?
Listen, I'm going to out you in public. I was saying to my team, Uti, if he does not answer the phone today, I'm good.
And then you must know that I'm the listener of SAFM. I listen to your show.
Yes.
I know when you go to Madlanga. I know when you come back. You're playing the VNs and all that. So I know what is happening in your show.
No, that's cool. Let's talk about this event. You are the spokesperson of the Symphony by the Water. It sounds like a very special event. And I know that you had the launch about 2 days ago. Half of our team came down there to see what all the fanfare is all about.
No, thank you so much. When KK was there when we launched the Symphony by the Water, and then the Deputy Minister in the Presidency, Steve was there, and the Minister Babnaran Singh, the Deputy Minister, Wai Konana as well. So it was very good to have them there. And our partners for this big event. The event is big. What I like about the event is different. We'll see young people sharing a stage with Madlanga, Amy Smith, and the orchestra KwaZulu Natal. And we're going to the townships, and then there is a school, Adams College, they're part of the event. And what is good, Sister Bridget, is that we are including the communities, that you come and show your talent, and then young people to come and show their talent, which is very good.
It's a musical feast. It's an art presentation. As we said, it's set against the backdrop of Midmar Dam. Yeah. Are there particular areas that you're seeking to promote? I mean, you speak about sort of community participation and an intergenerational mix of talent as well. But is there more by way of what you're trying to present to the public, the touch points of this event?
There'll be another exciting element in this event where we have young and up-and-coming chefs who will be competing. If you win there, you're going to cook for the VVIPs. That's one. And number two, sometimes when we do these events, we forget people living with disabilities. So now there is a school who's going to come on stage and perform, because we want to inspire and then promote Ubuntu around the music festival. Sometimes what we do, we just go for concerts and then we leave. What are we leaving back to young people is that let's go back to the communities, motivate them, inspire them, and also give them workshops. Now you can become a Bridget. You can become the next industry. You can be any Smith Madlanga. At the end, if we do these workshops, now we are getting something out of this event. And again, if you are selling, come and sell to the event so that people they can see. I know each and every. I'm sick and tired of where we say, people from communities, mama, they must come with beadworks. No, it's more than beadworks. What can we do? The province of KwaZulu Natal is rich. Mayor Upapa said something very powerful that day. What is? Let me madam. We have Ingoma, Stratamia, Isikeke, Indlamu. We have young people. I looked up to Mongeningema, Lady Smith, Black Mambazo. But now, when we tell them to come to the event, but come and showcase your talent. And again, what we'll do with the Department of Arts, Sports and Arts and Culture in KZN, we'll give them buses. They'll be bused to the event. Young people from schools. Now I can't be motivated. And no, you can again who's coming up and coming.
I like what you're saying there about the mayor encouraging young people to come and show their creative prowess, because let's talk about how arts, culture and tourism can actually be used as an economic empowerment tool, an economic driver, especially in a province. We're both from KZN. I'm born, bred Durban, and we know how rich and talented Durban is, and also just the cultural offering that KZN has as a whole, that is yet to be tapped into and fully exploited by young people.
And I said something to the Deputy Minister in the Office of the President. I said, you know what, if you want to find youth, go to social media. But what do we do? Are we give them right information? What are we doing? Let's go to SAFM and then let's market our this project. But again, at the end, what are we doing with up and coming? You go to events, you go to schools, they're still playing Sarafina, Mongeningem, Leleti, and then you see young girls doing one and the same thing. They don't even know what was happening. But what can we create now, moving forward? All these 2Ks. In one case, we understand what was happening. So the 2Ks, let's inspire them, train them. Can you become a business manager in terms of music? Can we be an artist manager? How to make money in this industry? Because you can make money. And then they think of singing. No, but besides singing, you can be a stylist. You can be a driver. But we can do a lot within the space of this industry. And again, when you go to the concert, someone is following Ulinda with a camera. Ubando Wendani. Now it's high time we give that knowledge to youngsters. And again, I advise the department. I said, please go to SABC radio stations and advertise your program, because tourism is something that we can benefit from we fisheries and forestry and also agriculture and environmental. We can benefit something. And we want to teach young people who would, hey, be in this industry, but there's a lot you can do. There will be one day music on the 7th of March, but after that, what you can do with your talent, with your gift, because it's not about with me now, Bridget, I listen to her on radio. After radio, you do something. So let's inspire them and motivate the young people.
Absolutely. So 7th of March is the big day for the concert.
Yes.
Let's talk about the details. We know that obviously Midmar Dam is the location. Where do people go to get their packages? What do packages and pricing look like?
You go to a ticket website, and then you go to Pick and Pay. I know you said I'm a spokesperson. In fact, I'm the program director. I know I know the founder, and he's a friend of mine. He's a brother. He said to me, Lina, be the ambassador. I said, okay, let me wear the cap. So people, and again, I said there when we were launching this Symphony by the Waters, I said, people, this coming weekend, I know it's a Valentine's Day. Please, in case of then, just postpone the Valentine's Day and tell your partner that we're going to meet Madam.
All right.
So, go and come there and celebrate with your wife, with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, and your husband, or you can bring the family.
Yeah.
It would be good to be there with the family, ukoko, umkhulu, to say, now, Talapantu Uboni Orchestra, Madlanga, and Smith, and young kids performing on stage. But people can go and get their tickets from Pick and Pay.
Absolutely. Linda Spear, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for the time. Well, let's say thank you for eventually answering your phone.
When I listen to your show, you do a great work there.
That was Linda Spear. And of course, he will be program directing on the day and loosely wearing the hat of spokesperson of the Symphony by the Water. So 7th of March at the Midmar Dam. And you can get your tickets via Pick and Pay or web ticket. 350 Rand per person is what it would cost you. But don't quote me on that. You might also want to go see, because I think there's different pricing for the day and for the night, because at night time the KZN Philharmonic Orchestra is going to take to the stage, and if you've never seen them perform, you've got to give yourself that treat. They really just are incredible as the full orchestra of KZN. They're spectacle to behold. We're fast approaching 1:30, and I'm presuming that we're going to bring you the headline news. And then on the other side of that, if time allows, we want to have a conversation around this tax year-end mistake that a lot of South Africans still make. We are somehow missing the opportunity to save this 36,000 rands that is tax-free savings for us. So I know I'm one of them. So we're going to have that conversation on the other side of the headline news.
For 90 years, one voice has informed, challenged, and connected a nation. SAFM, South Africa's national English public radio station. Established in 1936 as the SABC's very first service, the A program evolving through the English service, Radio South Africa to SAFM in 1995, shaping thought and strengthening democracy. From a full-spectrum station to a trusted home of news and talk, SAFM continues to lead the conversations 90 years strong. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
Thank you, Bridget. On the news headlines, the South African Human Rights Commission is calling on the government to declare the current water crisis a national disaster. The Madlanga Commission has heard the warning statement of suspended Koruleni Metro Police Department Deputy Police Chief Commissioner Julius Mkwanazi, read by Senior IPID investigator Nomsa Masuku, and International Relations and Cooperation Minister Ronald Lamula says South Africa's election to the AU Peace and Security Council reaffirms the country's commitment to play a critical role to have a safe continent. A floodlight follows at the top of the hour.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. Easy to apply, no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS SAFM to 48031. That's 48031. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
President Cyril Ramaphosa will on Thursday, 12 February, deliver the 2026 State of the Nation Address at the Cape Town City Hall. Tune in to the meeting point with Koketso Sachane with a special broadcast from 6 p.m., bringing you blow-by-blow coverage at the 2026 State of the Nation Address. As we celebrate 90 years of existence, SAFM takes you back to the voices that shaped a nation.
Now leave the SABC and see the tower block lit up, 27 stories of light. Move from Auckland Park into the shadow of the Hillbrow Post Office Tower.
This is the English service of the SABC. Here is the news, read by Patricia Carr. A member of the Planning Committee of the President's Council, Mr. Nick Tuernicht, has been appointed chairman of the Council's Community Relations Community.
90 years of trusted voices. This is SAFM.
So if you love live music in beautiful spaces, Symphony by the Water is one to diarize. It's taking place at Madlanga on Saturday, the 7th of March, featuring the KZN Philharmonic Orchestra with an incredible lineup of South African artists. Tickets are available now at Web Tickets or Pick and Pay. And of course, if you want to be a part of the exhibitors or sell something at a stall, spaces are available at 600 Rand. And for more info, you can follow at Symphony Waters on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
You are listening to The Full Circle.
All right, it's gone 1:30, and I think we're going to dip into the Madlanga Commission. They've also thrown us for a bit of a loop. Their predictable schedule is somewhat unpredictable this week. So we're going to go back to them. Hopefully they're going to ride until the top of the hour. We anticipate that they should take lunch at 2, since they haven't taken lunch at the usual 1 o'clock. And then we'll come back on the other side of 2 and fill you in with some content to ease your afternoon. So let's go to Madlanga.
You are listening to the Madlanga Commission, live on SAF.
Because he didn't tell all the facts. When he came to the commission, he added more information that he never told us.
Yes.
And then that information that was on the commission, going back to my case docket, I realized that yes, this is what transpired, because I've got some proof to refer to. Then he was not going to be declared a 204 witness.
Okay.
Yes, he was not honest enough.
Okay. That's clarified, I think. If you then can deal with your paragraph 67 and following.
I would further like to add that during the investigations into this matter, 3 of the suspects were killed and their murder cases are investigated by SAPS. Killed suspects were Yako Wanekom, as per mentioned March 2023 Boxback case number, Constable Khoza, as per mentioned docket case number from Zakane of October 2025, who was attached to Brakpan Police Station. The above 2 suspects were killed days before meeting with the IPID personnel for interview in relation to this investigation. Marius van der Merwe was later killed as per case 75 of 12/2025, as well after giving the evidence at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. His murder case is investigated by SAPS as well. The timing and circumstances of these deaths raise serious concerns regarding the safety of the witnesses and the potential obstruction of the ongoing investigation, which the Commission should consider. A further suspect, Willem Pretorius, took his own life on the 7th of February 2026, as per mentioned case number.
And that then leads us to the next chapter, if you could just deal with that, both of them, those paragraphs.
Yes, Commissioners. On this paragraph, there is somewhere whereby I've mentioned the case number of Jaco Hennekom.
Yes.
Even himself, we were about to see him when he died. We remember that on the day of incident, when he died, my colleague was in court for bail application that included stalls.
Yes.
In Mackenzie. On that day, that is the day because we were communicating with Marius. He was the one who was helping us as to how to get hold of these people because he knew them better, even though we were protecting him during that period because we didn't want them to know that he gave statement. We will find a way of getting hold of them, but we didn't want them to see that there is one of them who came out with the information. We had tried to make contact so that we can get a hold of Hanekom. Then he was aware that he was supposed to meet with us. But before we could meet him, then he was killed. Same applies to Kosa. But I am not saying he was killed because of this matter. But they died before we can meet up with them. Yes.
Noted. We are then on the part of your concluding remarks at page 19, if you could deal with that.
I am aware of allegations that IPID either deliberately sought to subvert the investigation into death of Mpenze. I am also aware that some EMPD officers share this unfortunate view as testified before this commission by Chief of Police Mapieye and Commissioner Spies. Nothing could be further from the truth. I accept that these EMPD senior officers were unaware of progress in this matter. I confirm that we did not provide ongoing updates. We could not. This is so because we were investigating, amongst others, members of the very EMPD, and updates on investigation had a real risk of undermining our work. It was necessary to keep progress as secretive as possible, lest the suspects became aware of the progress made and the risk of arrest faced. In such circumstances, not only would the case be undermined, our lives will be in grave jeopardy. I am trying to explain, Commissioners, that I understood that when the testimony was given by our EMPD senior managers, even South Africa took as if we were doing this deliberately so that maybe we are protecting EMPD officers, of which we are not. We do not report to the stakeholders. It's either EMPD, any MPS organization, SAPS organization, we don't report to them in progress of our matters. They will only hear from us if our investigation is finalized to say we are charging the following members. But that doesn't stop us from communicating with these senior managers. Because if a member falling under them committed another crime somewhere, I need to contact the senior officer at that precinct. If I will not be communicating with two senior officers that gave evidence testimony here, Julius Mkhwanazi must be contacted, because it was his members. Whenever we investigate a member, on most of my cases, of our cases as a team, Julius Mkhwanazi must give the commander's statement. There is no way that we could have avoided to say, because we are investigating him in this matter, now we don't want to talk to him. We talk to them. Even not only them, any police officer, even if this police officer, I was charging him this morning for a certain matter. If another matter comes in, I will contact the same officer again, because I'm doing my job. So,
Can I ask you a question, Ms. Masuku? Why not contact the chief of police in that department? Why contact a mid-level brigadier who's responsible for a division within EMPD? Why not contact the head of the EMPD if you are investigating members of the EMPD? I'll tell you why I'm asking. Suspicion arose, and we heard from the EMPD senior people who came here that every time IPID went to EMPD offices, they would have meetings with Julius Mkhwanazi, and they, as chief of police and deputy chief of police, would not know what those meetings were about. And that created this suspicion that IPID is cozying up to Julius Mkhwanazi and protecting him. So now that you have the context and the background, why not deal with the chief of police or deputy chief of police? Because the people you are investigating are also their members. They are not Julius Mkhwanazi's members. Do you follow?
I follow you, Commissioner. Commissioner, I will respond, but I won't respond fully, because I think my colleague who's coming will have to respond to that. So I don't want to take his responses, but in light, it's not that even them, they were never contacted. There is proof for that. They were contacted. And the level of communication is the same to all of them. Furthermore, we conduct we call it station lectures to the members to teach them about IPID mandate, because members, they tend to be hostile when we arrive at the crime scenes. More especially to the crime scenes whereby they have fired shots. We have to disarm them for the firearms to be tested. That is when the hostility will start, to say, why are we disarming them? Because we think they've got a lack of knowledge of our mandate. They need to understand our mandate first before they can get to these conclusions they are having about the department. It's part of our duties to conduct the station lectures. There are a few station lectures that were arranged with Julius Mkhwanazi. They were fruitful. We went to their college. We did the station lecture. It was it's Mkhwanazi who helped us in that. The reason was because his members are complaining to say, we seize their firearms, they don't get them back. It takes time to be tested at our forensic laboratories. Even at their precinct in Kenton Park, where we've conducted a few station lectures there with other units, these senior managers were there. Because we take photos. When we do that, our department wants photos to see who was there and all that. We have photos when we're standing with them, these officers. In my office, I've plugged them on the wall. I personally, even after they gave testimony, I personally spoke to one of them and said, I'm very disappointed as to, you can go to the commission and paint the effect that looks like we're not doing our duties. And they had a wrong information thinking that this case was investigated by my colleague. Meantime, it was me. I said to them, if you wanted to know the details on the matter, you should have approached me. And the reason I was talking to him, commissioners, I will be honest, I was not happy when Marius came to give evidence. Because I was protecting him as well. I remember when I was called, when it started that I'm also needed, went for consultation to the investigators of the commission. When they told me that the following day Marius was going to appear, I told the investigator to say, my heart is sore. I wish I knew earlier because I didn't want this guy to come and talk publicly about this. If there was other way of giving this information to the commissioners, that way was going to be used, rather than he come and talk publicly about this. Because my only concern was about his life. And to my concern, my case was towards the end of it. Then I realized that now he's derailing my whole investigation because now everyone must know. And my worst worry was, even these people, they were confused as to who's the investigating officer because we were trying to confuse them by all means. Then I became worried to say, because I'll be called here, now they will know that this is the investigating officer. Because to other people, they will say it's me. To others, they will say it's my colleague, Tulani Makakula. The others, they will say it's Tulani Tlamini. It was okay like that when they are confused. But now, because it came out, I blamed EMPD to say they should have called us to say we want to know what's happening on this matter. If they are not happy, we've got managers as well to talk to them to say we are not happy with their investigation. But two, it's not for them to tell us about our investigation. We are independent. We don't take any instructions from them. We do our duties. We are impartial. We don't want to be influenced by them. Hence, if ever we do our investigation, we won't go back to them to say, because I said contact Constable Soren, so this is how far I am with my investigation concerning him. No, you will hear from me the last day when I say I need Constable Soren. So after that, I won't tell you anything up until I file the negative report. So commissioners, I know, even to South Africa, I know it looked like we were protecting officers. None of the officers we are protecting. My team, we are the most arresting team in Gauteng. Commissioners, at your own time, if you can just go Google arrest of EMPD members and see what you will find that will follow. You will see my personal car coming because we are the only people that only come there to arrest those same EMPD members in their own offices. We will inform them, the seniors, to say, on this day, we are coming to arrest so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. After that, we are gone. None of them is protected. But I understand it's because of this was involving Julius, and it took time for him to be arrested. But he was never protected. As you can see that his statement was taken long ago, not because of this commission. If the time comes for him to be arrested, he knows very well that we will arrest him. It's not that we are scared. We do get threats, yes, but that doesn't stop us from performing our duties. Hence, even this matter is finalized. If the instruction comes next week to say, effect arrest, I will go and arrest them. Then I will see later as to how protected I am, but I will have to continue with my duties. We've never protected anyone. We are communicating with the seniors, all of them, but I will pack it for my colleague to come because he's got proof as to we've been communicating at the same level with all of them. But the picture they painted here, that's not a good one. And commissioners, I tell you, honestly so, if you go to Eguruleni, they hate Mr. Makakula because he arrests. That's the most arresting member. We are working together. Even if the threats comes, because the officials have got their WhatsApp groups on the teams, it's not all of them that hate us. Something will be posted about us. We can go there to make arrests. Maybe it's about 5 members from our office. We're making arrests to these members. We also invite SAPS to help us because we don't have vehicles to put these people when they are arrested. We don't have those kind of cars. We must use SAPS to transport the suspects. But if something comes out about that arrest, on their groups that they socialize in, they will single out Nomsama Sugu and Tulani Makakula as these people, they hate us. Meantime, we're doing our duties. It's very painful for an officer, a high-ranking officer, to dent our image in a wrong way. Meantime, we do our job the right way. Thank you, Commissioners.
Ms. Masuku, it seems to me at least that you do provide an explanation at paragraph 69 why the suspicion would have arisen that you seem to be protecting Brigadier Mkhwanazi. And you explain that, well, it's because we couldn't share information with them. You couldn't tell people in the EMPD what it is you're doing. So I think insofar as it relates to Brigadier Mkhwanazi and maybe this case in particular, perhaps in fairness to them, the explanation you give at paragraph 69 that they would not have had information may well excuse them, from the views they held, the wrong view that they held. And perhaps also, let me speak for myself as well, that looking at the dates, for example, when Mr. Mbenze was killed, discovered, when IPID became involved, until you explained that in fact there's been investigations. These are the things that it had raised a question about why would it take so long, right? Is IPID really doing its work? So I think those questions needed you in the witness box today to clarify and put any concerns, uninformed consent, it turns out, from your evidence, it's clear that the concerns were indeed uninformed, that you have clarified them and perhaps take your piece from that, that you have explained to the Commission fully and to the nation that in fact the suspicions and concerns were uninformed and had no basis in fact because you have provided us with the facts of these investigations. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. Yes, Commissioners, I take that. Even though they've got my cell phone number, they should have called to say, we are intending to go to the Commission regarding this. Then I was going to be forced to, even though I was not going to go deep on my case, but I was going to be forced to show to them to say, you know what, the investigation is at this level. If you do this, you are exposing Marius van der Walt, because he will go there and talk, of which he gave me this statement in 2022, but I never told anyone. Even in my office, where I'm working in Johannesburg, My colleagues never knew that I was investigating this matter. When it was out on the commission, everyone was asking as to what case are they talking about, because we know nothing about this matter. Because this matter, we kept it secret. Then for it to be announced, for me, it was very painful. If I had powers, I was gonna come to the commission and say, please, I'm pleading with you. Can I give this information on the side, not on this kind of a platform? Because I was protecting Marius. I didn't want him to come. And two, knowing Marius that he can talk, I was worried for the family to hear the full details of what transpired on the day of incident, the painful death of Mr. Mbenze. I was forced to inform the family prior to prepare them to say, I've been informed that one of my suspects is going to the commission. Be prepared to hear more details that I cannot divulge to you because they are too painful. But it's done. I just thank the commissioners that I got this opportunity to come and explain, because commissioners, it's said, we work for IPT, we've got identity card that we carry with ourselves. It shows from far that I'm from IPT. Even wherever in public areas, when you walk, they see this IPT thing. They say, wow, you're working for IPT? Ah, that corrupt department. And we are not. It's just that we are overworked. That's why our cases, they look so, the investigation is going very slow. We are overworked. It's very difficult for one member to carry more than 400 case dockets. You will work on this docket, you put it aside, you go with your cycle. By the time you get there, 12 months are gone on this one. You never came back to this one. In between, we have courts. Last year, for 3 full months, I was in court. From the 2nd of April up until July, I was testifying at High Court, not going to the office. Imagine that there is 3 months that I've lost in my investigation of other matters. That one that I'm testifying also in, it's very important because somebody was killed. And thanks God, on the 16th, they are being sentenced. It's torture as well. That South Africa needs to know that we are working. It's just that they cannot see, but we are overwhelmed by work. We don't have knock-off times. You come to our offices, you will find me in the office 12 o'clock midnight. I'm still sitting in the office. The security guys of the building, they know me, I've got their contacts. When they see my car parked at the parking, they know that I will call them at midnight to say, come and open for me at the exit. I'm leaving now, I'm going home. The following day, I must be back to the office. That's the kind of work that we are doing. It's very stressful. It's too much work that we are doing, but we don't stop. We continue. So South Africa, you must bear with us. It's too much for us, but we will continue with the support of the community. If we don't get support from them, it's difficult for us. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Ms. Masuku. Commissioners, unless there are further questions, that is the testimony of Ms. Masuku. And I think for the record, I should place that I have exhausted the Commissioner's lunch hour now. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sello. Thank you very much, Ms. Masuku. We will adjourn and resume at 3 o'clock.
Yes,
but
Chair.
we want to see you, Ms. Sello,
yes.
the Commission Secretary and the Commission spokesperson outside now.
We shall be there, Chair.
Thank you very, very much, Ms. Masuku.
Thank you very much, Commissioners. But Commissioners, before you leave, with your permission, I will request the Commissioners to maybe have some recommendation to our department to say something can be done regarding the security for the members working for the department.
May that be included in what Ms. Sillo suggested earlier, which was that a supplementary statement or affidavit be filed with the Commission suggesting what IPID wants to see done or wants the Commission to recommend. And as I said earlier, Mr. Kifelakai is here and he has heard everything. So I assume that you two, as being somebody who is in the coal face, as it were, will participate in that process and that it won't be left to those in management because people who actually experience it, who feel it, are people like you, the food soldiers.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
107 nationwide.
On the top stories, police on high alert ahead of the SONA and a call for water crisis to be declared a national disaster. For SAFM News, I am Ondelambana and a very good day. Acting Police Minister Firoz Kashalia has urged officers to remain vigilant and alert for any potential disruptions ahead of the State of the Nation address this evening. Security has been tightened at the Cape Town City Hall, where President Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to deliver his speech at 7 p.m. He was speaking during the Integrated Law Enforcement Parade ahead of the deployment of SAPS members for the SONA.
I call on you to be respectful, treating every member of the public with dignity and fairness. And above all, I call upon you to act within the law, under the Constitution, remembering that your duty is to serve the people of South Africa.
The South African Human Rights Commission is calling on the government to declare the current water crisis a national disaster. The call comes amid the ongoing protest over water outages, which have left communities with dry taps for weeks. Water and Sanitation Minister Phemi Majodina briefed the Mid and Midrand north of Johannesburg earlier today. She confirmed that water supply has been restored in some areas. The Commission says the water crisis has reached a level where a broad, integrated and coordinated effort is required to turn the dire situation around. Diteboho Ntabane has the details.
The SAHRC has expressed concern that the absence of water at schools affects educational outcomes as learners are forced to miss school. It also stressed that the disruption has a detrimental impact on hospitals and clinics, impinging on the right to health care. The Commission warns that the declaration of a national state of disaster should not become a breeding ground for corruption and embezzlement of funds. It says sufficient oversight measures to ensure fiscal prudence should be instilled. Diteboho Ntabane, SABC News, Johannesburg.
The Madlanga Commission has heard the warning statement of suspended Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department Deputy Police Chief Commissioner Julius Mkhwanazi, read by senior IPID investigator Nomsa Masuku. The statement is in relation to the events of the murder of Brakpan businessman Emmanuel Mbenze. Mkhwanazi has been implicated in Mbenze's murder by the late witness D after he alleged that the suspended Deputy Police Chief was called to clean up the killing. But Mkhwanazi's version of events states that the said operation did not belong to the EMPD. Masuku read the statement to the Commission.
Brigadier Julius Mkhwanazi stated that he told Yako that he was frustrated because they were standing next to about 9 white males. Brigadier Julius Mkhwanazi alleged that he then shouted at Yako as he had woken him up and invited him to a crime scene which was not an EMPD operation. Julius claims he then stood outside the gate for a few minutes with intention to leave, but he suspected that the unknown white males inside the yard wanted to move items outside of the truck.
Deputy Chairperson of the National Youth Development Agency, Bonga Makhanya, has called on the mining industry to support youth-led projects in the sector. Makhanya says the agency will make funding available for qualifying projects. He says the youth-led projects can create jobs and grow the economy. Makhanya was speaking at the Investing in African Mining Indaba in Cape Town.
As they know idea, we're ready to give young people grants, we're ready to give them funding and capital to start their businesses. We are asking your support to come in and make sure that you empower youth businesses with real business opportunities. And we believe that in the local communities that these businesses or mining houses operate in, we can start to see a reduction in levels of unemployment.
International Relations and Cooperation Minister Ronald Lamula says South Africa's election to the AU Peace and Security Council reaffirms the country's commitment to play a critical role to have a safe continent. South Africa was elected alongside Lesotho to represent the southern region in the council. Lamula is in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, attending the AU Executive Council ahead of the Leaders' Summit this weekend. Kylie Kumalo has more.
The South African government has thanked the AU member states for their confidence and committed to work with AU Peace and Security Council in addressing peace and security challenges. This comes as the continent is grappling with unconstitutional changes of government, violent extremism and terrorism. Pretoria further says it will advocate for peaceful conflicts resolution, inclusive dialogue and negotiations aimed at supporting conflicting parties in finding durable solutions. Kylie Kumalo, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Recapping the top story, Acting Police Minister Firoz Kachalia has urged officers to remain vigilant and alert for any potential disruptions ahead of the State of the Nation address this evening. I'm Ondilambana for SFM News Headlines at 2:30.
Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
Whether it is a CCMA referral, problems with a mechanic, unfair blacklisting, or an uncontested divorce, Clientele Legal offers professional legal services to all South Africans. Our plans are affordable, and you receive up to 745,000 rand worth of legal services per year. We cover civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Our nationwide legal teams are standing by to support you 24 hours a day. Plus, all plans include a 5,000 rand bail benefit. Join today. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
When music meets nature, something unforgettable happens. Symphony by the Water, a world-class live music experience set against the breathtaking beauty of Midmar Dam, featuring the KZN Philharmonic Orchestra, Spogazi, the Black Lapels, Saturday, the 7th of March, 2026. Day tickets from 150, evening tickets from 350. Tickets available at WebTicket and Pick and Pay. Symphony by the Waters, where sound flows.
With the ever-changing financial landscape, it can be difficult to make sense of all the moves at times. Join me, Jimmy Moyaha, on the SAFM Market Update with MoneyWeb, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 to 7 p.m, as we break down the key market trends, top financial stories, and smart investment insights, all in one place. It's everything you need to stay financially informed and ahead of the curve.
President Cyril Ramaphosa will on Thursday, 12 February, deliver the 2026 State of the Nation Address at the Cape Town City Hall. Tune in to the meeting point with Koketso Sachane with a special broadcast from 6 p.m, bringing you blow-by-blow coverage at the 2026 State of the Nation Address. The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
uthando luphele nini izihlukumezisa ndizihlukumezisa ngawe indlela endihambileyo ndiyabona utikiwe ndim indlela endigqithileyo ndifuna ubona ubuso bakho ndihlala ndikucinga phezolo bebendibuza ukuthi wayaphi nyanomntu utshone phi ndicela uphume baby abanye bayahleka ndihlala ndithandaza ukuthi kuphele konke ubuhlungu endinabo indlela endihambileyo ndiyabona utikiwe indlela endigqithileyo ndifuna ubona ubuso bakho indlela endihambileyo ndiyabona utikiwe indlela endigqithileyo ndifuna ubona ubuso bakho zimela ukuzidinga kuboni ndisezoma ngaphandle phendula ukuthi ndenze njani incede makhelwane indlela endihambileyo ndiyabona utikiwe ndimu indlela endigqithileyo endihambileyo
Bathi ngintshela ukuthi yinde le ndlela for us South Africans that are listening to the Madlanga Commission. Yinde ngempela every single day when we talk to Usbahle, we are left gobsmacked at the kind of revelations that are brought forward at the Madlanga Commission. But can you imagine had we continued for another 5-10 years being in the dark? Can you imagine where we would be as a country, in a decade had we've been sort of moving along unaware of what's going on? So yinde impela indlela, but slowly but surely we will get to the promised land. Amafaku coming through, and that is how we kick off the hour of 2, as anticipated that they'd be on lunch from 2 until 3. And we're going to take the opportunity to have different kinds of conversations. Yesterday I was saying that everything else is getting drowned out by the Madlanga Commission, including SONA, the State of the Nation address, because I was not aware that SONA was happening until yesterday. I had no idea. Normally there's such a build up to SONA, we know well in advance and we start building up towards it. But I had no clue. So SONA is happening in Cape Town today. The State of the Nation address, and the President is set to highlight some achievements as well as some challenges that we're facing in the country. There are some positives here and there. I mean, if you look at the state of Eskom, I guess it's a positive check back. But we'd love to hear from you, Uti. What is your sentiment around SONA and what should be expected today, or if you even care anymore about the speech and the presentation that the President makes every year round about this time? So you can send us your voice notes. Our WhatsApp is open on 0614104107. And given the fact that a large part of the country is seeing a water crisis, I think it's safe to say that South Africa has moved from an electricity crisis to a water crisis. And remember when the NGOs and MPOs were sounding the bell 5-7 years ago about the water situation, and people were rubbishing them. People were saying, shush, you're causing all kinds of anxiety. And here we are right now, facing a water crisis. So we'd love to know from you regarding SONA. Feel free to WhatsApp us 061-4104-107. For now, though, let's have a conversation with Adrian Hope Bale, who is with the Fan Boss Money. And Adrian is the Fan Boss Money founder, in fact. As the end of the tax year is approaching, come the end of February, a lot of South Africans are said to make the same financial mistake time and time and time again. And that is, most of us every year miss the opportunity of utilizing that 36,000 Rand tax-free savings account allowance. So we're going to unpack some simple ways for us to invest without actually paying any kind of tax on interest, on dividends. Also, maybe just talk about why do we miss this gap. Adrian, how are you doing this afternoon?
Hey, Bridget, I'm very well, thanks. And yourself?
I'm good. Thank you so much for taking the time. Much appreciated. Almost expected a she, given the name.
Yeah, no, it's Adrian. It's a unisex name. Let's call it that.
I love it. We hear a lot about this tax-free savings account. But let me tell you, even myself, whom I consider myself to be a little bit financially savvy, I've got some financial literacy. But even myself, I've not utilized and exploited this opportunity. Why is it that so many of us seem to misunderstand and miss this mark of the tax-free savings account?
We don't listen to SONA enough. So, the reality is the tax-free savings account's only been around about 11 years. So it's a facility that was written into law in around 2015. So, I joke about SONA, and I'll agree with you. It's a small fest, most of it. But some of the stuff that comes out of the legislature is important, and one of those is this tax-free savings account. What it is that the government recognized the need to promote long-term saving. And so they created this account type. So in the same way as, the government puts into law how pensions and retirement annuities work, the tax-free saver is another tax-advantaged account, let's call it. And what it means is anything you invest into it is exempt from any tax. So money you put into a tax-free savings account, if it's invested in shares and those shares grow in value, so you get capital growth, when you sell those shares, you don't pay tax on the capital growth. If they pay dividends, you don't pay tax on the dividends. If you're earning interest through the account, you don't pay any tax. So you can imagine in the short term, maybe that's not a huge benefit, but in the long term, that can be pretty significant. If you're especially in a higher tax bracket, the tax savings can be pretty astronomical.
Absolutely. I want us to take a quick pause here for a second, and then we'll come back and continue the conversation. It's fast approaching 20 past 2 o'clock. Let's just get this ad out of the way, and then we'll come back with Adrian.
You can become a victim of a legal problem: wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Koketso Sachane on SAFM.
Not so national importance announcement by John Steenhuisen.
We are all important to ourselves. When you come and tell us, if you have to come and give me an announcement, I must believe that that announcement is important to you and it's important to the people around your circle, because they themselves are losing a political figure, right? It's of national importance in and around your neighborhood, and I think that's what he meant.
On a serious note, though, what do you make of what's happening?
I think it was almost inevitable, right? Because when you listen to war strategists, they'll tell you never fight a war on two fronts. And in this case, John Steenhuisen was fighting a war on three fronts, right?
The Meeting Point, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 10 p.m. As the nation seeks answers, SAFM brings you live, uninterrupted coverage of Parliament's ad hoc committee investigating allegations made by KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Commissioner, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. You can also stay up to date with the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into Criminality, Political Interference and Corruption in the Criminal Justice System. Stay informed, stay connected. Tune in live on SAFM 104 to 107 and follow the coverage across our digital platforms live on Facebook, X and YouTube at SAFM Radio. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
South Africa's leading fuel energy company, Engen, part of the Vivo Energy Group, will be at the Investing in African Mining Indaba, showcasing how partnership and technology are reshaping modern mining, from secure fuel and lubricant supply to AI-enabled equipment monitoring and predictive maintenance. Engen and Vivo Energy are helping mining operations improve uptime, manage costs, and build long-term resilience. Visit the Engen and Vivo Energy stand Q38 at Mining Indaba 2026, where smarter mining meets stronger partnerships, because mines are always moving. We're always moving.
You are listening to The Full Circle.
All right, we are talking to Fanboss Money founder Adrian Hope Bailey, and we're talking around the 36,000 Rand tax year-end tax-free savings account, rather, I should say, and the mistakes that we seem to make every tax year end by not actually tapping into this account. Now that we kind of have a lukewarm understanding of what the tax-free savings account is, let's talk about perhaps the importance for us to use this allowance before the 28th of February. And I might actually have another follow-up question there around, can I, if I miss the 28th of February, can I double down in the next year? So instead of saving 36,000, can I save 72,000? Is that a possibility?
Short answer is no, unfortunately. So, yeah, I mean, I think the tax benefits of the TFSA are pretty obvious. It's a fantastic facility that the government's given us, but it's not unlimited. You can't just take everything you've got that you want to invest and put it into a TFSA. So, if you have a windfall, you get a bonus, or you have an inheritance, or you sell a house or something. You can't suddenly just put all of that into a TFSA. So. It's worthwhile making sure as a discipline you try and put as much of your long-term savings into the TFSA every year as you can afford. And the limit is 36K a year. So if you, and I'll add, there's also a lifetime limit. So you can only put up to 500,000 Rand over your lifetime, which it sounds like a lot of money, but if you are managing to put 36,000 Rand in each year, you'll have hit that limit within 14 years. So you can imagine, if you're doing this from the day you start your first job and you're putting some money aside, or even better, if you're doing this for your children. So if you're putting money into a tax-free savings account for your children, before they're even 15 years old, you could have used up their full lifetime limit, which sounds like a bad thing. It's actually a fantastic thing, because that money is going to sit there and grow. And if you can teach them the discipline to leave that until retirement, that's generational wealth. That's more money than you would ever dream you would be able to leave your children. So the limit, what the limit means is, not that you have to put 36,000 in. It just means you can't put more than that. And it means, don't sit around and wait for that big windfall, for that moment when you get a big bonus, because you can't suddenly put it all in next year. You have to spread it out over the years, over at least 14 years, to get to that lifetime limit.
I mean, when you talk retirement, I guess retirement annuities and things like that are really complicated for a lot of us to understand. How does contributing to an RA before the tax year end maybe help reduce some taxable incomes, or does contributing to an RA also somehow impede or impact on the tax-free account? Oh, it's all mutually exclusive?
It's an excellent question. So those are different They're very different types of accounts, and they don't impact each other. But they have different ways that they give you advantage of tax. And it's important to understand those, I think, because the RA, a retirement annuity, is something that reduces your taxable income. So if we take a step back, we're talking about the tax year end, and maybe some people don't even realize what that is. It's the 12 months from March to February every year is what SARS uses as its year. It measures the amount that of tax you owe based on what you've done during that period. They don't go January to December, they go March to February. So they look at that period and they say, well, what have you earned? What gains have you got from selling assets? What dividends did you get paid, etc.? And they calculate the tax that you owe. Now, the only way to reduce the amount of tax that you pay SARS is to reduce that taxable income. So or take advantage of exemptions. And the most common, the simplest way to reduce your taxable income, so not reduce the amount of income you earn, but reduce how much is used for the tax calculation, is to take some of that income and put it into a retirement annuity. So when you do that, let's say you earned R1 million, over the last tax year, if you put 200,000 into an RA, now your tax is calculated on 800,000 income instead of R1 million, so you pay less tax. What that can have two effects. If you're a provisional taxpayer, you probably owe a big payment coming up soon, and you put some money into an RA before the end of the month, so before the end of the tax year. Now you can recalculate what you owe SARS, and you can probably calculate it. Your number will be much lower because you put money into an RA and reduced your income. If, like most people, you're on a salary, so you're getting paid every month, and your employer is deducting your income tax for you, so you're paying PAYE, pay as you earn tax. That's being calculated by your employer on the assumption that you're going to earn a certain amount each tax year. They don't know that you're going to put a lump sum into an RA if you do that now. And so when your tax is calculated by SARS at the end of the year, they will realize that you overpaid. You will have paid on the assumption that your income was higher, and so then you'll get a nice little refund in the next few months. So once your tax return's in and they do the recalculation, taking into account the RA contribution, you get a nice refund. And I think the last thing to point out then, and I think this is, was the great question, is the difference between that and the tax-free saver. What you put into a tax-free savings account doesn't reduce your taxable income, but it also doesn't get taxed when you take out of it. When you take money out of your retirement annuity at retirement, or if you take it out of the savings pot along the way, you're going to get taxed at your marginal tax rate on that money coming out. Now, it's still a big benefit because you're getting to put that money in before tax, and it gets to grow. So you get to probably invest more than you could afford to if you were putting in after-tax money. And there's a number of other benefits of the RA. It's protected from creditors. It doesn't form part of your estate. We can get into the details, but I think the important thing to be aware of now, just as we're coming up towards the end of the tax year, is if you have some money to put away for the long term, it's a good opportunity to look at either putting it into an RA, a tax-free savings account, or both.
You definitely have me considering the tax-free savings account, implementing that as in yesterday. It's just our final question on that, because I think a lot of folks, you quote us when you say that, you could start for your kids even now. Is it just as simple as calling if you have a broker or a financial advisor that you use, or you can just walk into a bank and say, I want a tax-free savings account?
Yep. Tax-free savings accounts are offered by most banks. They're also offered by platforms like ours on Fynbos Money or on other brokerage platforms. The key for opening an account for your kids is to understand that the tax-free savings account is in their name. So you can put money into that account. Withdrawals have to go into a bank account in their name in the future, so if there are any ever withdrawals. And when they turn 18, that becomes their money. So along with putting money aside for them into a tax-free savings account is teaching them responsible financial habits. Understand that, million rand or 2 million rand that's been growing as they were growing up, that's sitting there, is not for them to take out when they're 18 and have a party. It's there for their retirement, so that they can not worry about saving for their own retirement. They have this financial freedom from the day that they become adults.
Absolutely.
And opening a tax-free is very straightforward. I think things to look out for when you're opening a tax-free savings account: don't waste the tax-free benefits on an account that just pays interest. Don't just go and open a fixed interest account and use your tax-free contributions for that. Find something, if you're investing for the long term, which is what you should be doing for a tax-free. Find something with an appropriate product under the hood. So the tax-free can be invested in ETFs. We certainly, the way we recommend people use our tax-free is to pick one of the low-cost, global equity index tracking ETFs, like something that tracks the MSCI World Index or something like that, and put it in there and leave it in for decades. It's a decades-long investment. It's something that when you get to retirement, you will have the privilege of being able to draw down on alongside a pension or an RA. And that means when you do start withdrawing from that RA or pension, you don't have to draw as much, so you pay less tax. It's an incredibly powerful tool to work alongside your pension or retirement annuity.
Absolutely. Definitely some good advice there, Adrian. Thank you so much for the time. That was Adrian Hope Bailey, a Fenbos Money founder. It's gone 2:30. Time for Ondela to bring us the headline news, and then we'll come back on the other side and get into our kids' programming.
Thank you, Bridget. On the news headlines, Police Minister Feroz Kachalia has alluded to an announcement that will be made by President Cyril Ramaphosa about the deployment of the SANDF in the Western Cape. Lawyer for the families of victims of apartheid-era brutality, Howard Vani, has called for subpoenas to be served on former National Directors of Public Prosecutions Bulelani Ngcuka and Silas Ramaide, as well as former police commissioners. Humanitarian aid organization Gift of the Givers says it has been inundated with water intervention requests from municipalities that are currently facing a water crisis in the Western Cape. A flood update follows at the top of the hour.
You can become a victim of a legal problem: wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
President Cyril Ramaphosa will on Thursday, 12 February, deliver the 2026 State of the Nation Address at the Cape Town City Hall. Tune in to the meeting point with Koketso Sachane with a special broadcast from 6 p.m., bringing you blow-by-blow coverage at the 2026 State of the Nation Address.
Hi, I'm Khomotso KG Mweketi, and I believe in music's ability to connect, to heal, to remind, and to bring joy. And each week on my Saturday and Sunday show Seasons right here on SAFM, I endeavor to do just that. So join the movement of Seasons every Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's addictive. You might invite a friend. Seasons, only on SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide with me, KG Mweketi. Because where words fail, music speaks.
You are listening to The Full Circle. This program is brought to you by SABC Education. Enriching minds, enriching lives.
And welcome to Nali Bali. Did you know that you are never too young to help solve problems? Big or small, problems are a part of life. But the good news is that everyone's problem has a solution. And sometimes the best ideas come from young minds just like yours. Whether it's helping a friend, fixing something at home, or coming up with a clever new idea, you can be part of the solution. Your thoughts, creativity, and kindness make a big difference in the world. Today's story is called The Hidden Town, written by Jason van Rensbeck. But before we listen to today's story, let's all get up and... Kokip grew up in a quiet, peaceful village hidden between the Simeon Mountains of the Ethiopian highlands. His people had escaped there when the surrounding lands had been torn apart by war. The elders said that they were ancient giants who lived in the mountains. These giants had once been friends to humans, but their friendship ended when humans tricked the giants into making weapons of war for them. The elders knew that the warlords and their armies would never enter the mountains where the giants lived, so they led their people through the mountain passes until they found a deep valley. The mountains that surrounded the valley were so high, they seemed to touch the stars. There, Kokip's people began to build a new life in the safety of the mountain's shadows. At first, everyone was grateful for the peace they had found. But as time passes, the tall cliffs that protected them from the outside world also cast long dark shadows over the village. The sun's rays could barely reach the valley floor. The village and farmlands were dark and gloomy. The crops struggled to grow, and the people felt the weight of the shadows pressing down on their spirit. Kokip watched the once happy villagers grow sadder by the day.
I must find a solution. I can't bear to see the people so sad.
Kokip said to himself. Night after night, Kokip lay awake in his bed trying to think of a way to bring the light and warmth of the sun to the village.
How long would it take to chop down the mountain peaks? How long would it take to move our homes and farms to the top of the mountains?
Kokip whispered to the night. During the day, Kokip spent hours drawing up plans for the valley, the mountains, and the sun. Surely one of his plans would be the perfect solution. Then that night, Kokip had a dream in which he saw the valley filled with sunlight. He woke up with a start and rushed to draw the plan he had seen in his dreams. The next morning, he went to the elders.
Respected leaders,
he said, bowing before the elders.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you. I would like to show you my plan to bring sunlight to our village and farmlands.
Kokip and the elders spoke until at last it was decided that Kokip would go to the mountains giants to ask for their help. Please be careful, my son. The giants do not trust humans. Please come back to us unharmed. Kokip's mother said.
I will do my best, and I'm sure the giants will help us when they see the plans I've drawn up.
Promised Kokip. He slung the leather bag with his drawings over his shoulder and set off. He climbed the steep mountain paths that led to the cave where the giants lived. The higher he climbed, the colder the air became, but Kokip kept going. Two days passed before Kokip finally arrived at the giant's cave. The entrance was guarded by a massive door. Kokip gathered his courage and knocked on the door. The door opened slowly, and the giant's voice boomed from within.
Who dares to disturb me? Have humans not caused enough trouble?
Kokip's heart was pounding.
Great giant of the mountain, I am Kokip from the valley below. We have escaped the horrors of war and sought refuge in your mountains. But the cliffs are so high that they cast shadows that leave our valley in darkness. I've come to ask for your help to bring sunlight to our village.
He said. The giant stepped out of the cage. His eyes glowed like embers as they looked at Kokeb suspiciously.
Humans have tried to trick us before. They ask for our help to make tools, but then they use them as weapons of war. Why should I trust you?
The giant rumbled. Kokeb knelt down at the entrance to the cave, opened his bag, and pulled out his drawings. Carefully, he explained what he wanted to do and how the great giants could help to make the plan succeed. The giants nodded slowly.
You see, these things we enjoy making, young Kokeb.
He said.
We like making tools that build up the world, but do not destroy it.
Soon, Kokeb and the giants got to work forging a great silver shield. The mountains and valley rang with the sound of the giants' hammers. After many days of endless work, the silver shield was finally done. 3 giants led Kokeb to the highest peak above the valley, carrying a massive silver shield. They placed the shield at an angle on top of the peak so that it could catch the sun's rays and reflect them into the valley below. And as the sun rose the next morning, the shield worked perfectly. It captured the sun's light and reflected it down into the valley. The shadows melted away, and the valley was bathed in the bright light of the sun. Soon the crops began to grow strong, and the people's spirits lifted. They sang songs of joy and gratitude, celebrating Kokeb's bravery and the mountain's giant's gift. Kokeb was hailed as a hero who had dared to climb a mountain and win the hearts of the mountain giants. And so we come to the end of another Nali Valley story time. Today's story was called The Hidden Town, written by Jason van Rensberg. Did you know that reading and telling stories to children at home can help them do better at school? If you want free stories to read to your children or for your children to enjoy on their own, visit the Nali Bali website www.nalibali.org or Mobi site www.nalibali.mobi. You will find stories in 11 South African languages, as well as tips for reading and sharing stories with your children to grow their potential. Also look out for the bilingual Nali Bali Reading for Enjoyment supplement with great children's stories and activities, available in newspapers. Nali Bali, it starts with a story.
This program was brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives. SFM, playing the music you want to hear.
I wanna be there when the people start to turn it around, when they triumph over poverty. I wanna be there when the people win the battle against AIDS. I wanna lend a hand. I wanna be there for the alcoholic. I wanna be there for the drug addict. I wanna be there for the
To Mamina. You know, sometimes we're so shady. They say they want a feedback. They want a report. Ukuthi sakuthuma ke, sakuthuma mongameli, sakuthuma wathi sikuthume wasibuyela no Dinswalo. Sifuna ukwazi ukuthi what is happening now with Dinswalo. We understand indeed ukuthi the 350 has gone to 370, but what more are you bringing to us in 2026? So that is what people want to hear from SONA at this point in time. Uti, how have you enriched, enabled, developed, nurtured, and ensured Dinswalo's success since Siktuma? That address is coming up, SONA State of the Nation address later on tonight. And of course, you know that SABC News is going to bring it to you live. Let's take a quick break and then we'll come back on the other side. We'll dip into WhatsApp. We want to know from you, what are your expectations from what Mongameli is going to be saying to us today? Do you have any expectations at all? Or perhaps, you're neither here nor there. Whether SONA happens, doesn't happen, it makes no material difference in the state of your livelihood and in your ability to take care of your children, your family, to raise them, to sustain them, and to ensure that they've got a future, a prosperous future. That is 061-410-4107 is our WhatsApp.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. Easy to apply, no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS SAFM to 48031. That's 48031. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Hi, I'm Zycard. Catch me every Saturday from 7 to 9 p.m. on Spotlight as we bring you blow-by-blow sporting action, news. That's Spotlight every Saturday. You don't want to miss it.
Eskom is upgrading old electricity meters with modern smart meters, giving you clarity, control, and confidence. With your new meter, you'll be able to see your usage in real time, giving you the power to manage your electricity with ease. Smart meters are accurate and help Eskom respond faster to issues. So please allow their authorized installers access to install your new meter. And for more information, you can visit Eskom's website. Eskom, redefining for a better future.
Let's have the conversation. WhatsApp voice notes on 0614 104 107.
Bridget, I think President, he must just give his SONA address in camera, like those witnesses who are giving evidence to Madlanga Commission, critical evidence, so that it will be that for those who are interested, maybe, just like a podcast. You just do a podcast, you upload it on YouTube. Everyone who is interested, you're gonna go to YouTube and search your SONA and watch there, than to bring it to us forcefully so.
Good afternoon. It's Ulrich Steenkamp from South Africa, Johannesburg. With the State of the Nation address looming closely by, we as environmental activists and as energy activists, we are really, really expecting our president to actually make more decisive measures for the energy industry, especially with regards to measures that would curb energy poverty as well as pollution. We still have the people of the energy bucket of the country, meaning Mpumalanga, still suffering from energy poverty whilst having the most toxic air in the world. So we need urgent focus on that. We also need our president to start making clear and direct ways in which he can actually lessen the occurrence of energy poverty within our country, whilst also accelerating a just transition to a low carbon economy. Meaning that we now need to also try focusing our energy systems in a way in which we can now have less pollutive industries while still producing enough electricity. So we now need to start divesting from our pollutive industries such as fossil fuels, your coal and your oil and your gas, and now start investing more heavily in our renewable energy technologies and our battery storage options so that we can actually ensure that the health and well-being of those around the power systems are protected, because currently that is not the case, and this is where our government has failed the poorest of the poor, because we are still having energy poverty, and whilst we are having that, we still have looming tariff increases for the energy that we so desperately need. So now we are stuck between either being able to pay for energy or not, and the energy that we are using is what's making most of the Highveld and of Mpumalanga sick due to all of the toxic air pollution that we have right there. So we need urgent, effective measures to address these issues in an environmentally friendly way.
Good day, SAFM listeners and my sister. My sister, I will listen to the State of the Nation on the day when they really do talk about the state of the nation, where they will reflect on their failures, when they will reflect on their shortcomings and their success. That is the real state of the nation. These ones that have been done by Tate Zuma and Tate Ramaphosa, they are just the state of the ANC, which exclude their failures. Nicholas in Brantford.
Afternoon, SAFM. Afternoon, SAFM. Yeah, you spoken to Sindani here from Emadashin. Yeah, I want to talk about the SONA of the president. That the SONA of the president that is announcing from today, 7 p.m. I don't care about that SONA, because it's also repeat the one thing. The one thing, now we drink a dirty water, and then so he said to us he's gonna drinking a clean water, and then we're gonna get the electricity. As from SE president, that our first president, a black first president, he says on 1994 that is gonna visit George Bush on America. So We don't care about this SONA. Even now, that informal traders, those people, even today, they never founding about this budget of SONA. Malapat always we're talking about the SONA. No man is useless. Sindan.
Good afternoon, Bridget. You know, I love Huma Sikela, the late Huma Sikela, and then Tumamina is one of my favorite songs. But now I don't hear it like the same anymore. Eish, ayana, eish.
Good afternoon, Bridget, and the listeners of the show. Bridget, I'm expecting nothing from the SONA. Nothing will come different from Ramaphosa and the parliament as well, because I've lost the trust in them, because we are being led by politicians. We are not being led by leaders. What I mean by politician is that the cost division and chaos and separation, they are not in unity. The reason why we are having aging infrastructure that was being built by the apartheid government is that we are having politicians who are not in unity, who can change or maintain and sustain those infrastructures. Run by Proteagland. Thanks for the great show.
Not a whole podcast. Not go search for him if you want to hear him. But why? That is all the time that we have with you this afternoon. Thank you so much for always being a sport. We're going to leave it here. Ashraf is standing by to take over from 3 o'clock. We have some time to sneak in 1 or 2 voice notes before he brings you the top of the hour news. From me and my team, inshallah, God willing, we'll do it again tomorrow.
Let's have the conversation. WhatsApp voice notes on 0614 104 107.
Sabona Bridget, nethimba lakho lapho e-studio. Hayi mina ngilindele inganekwane. Konje yini inganekwane ngesingisi? Fairy tale. Ngilindele inganekwane ubaba uRamaphosa uzobe esixoxela inganekwane. Ebusuku namhlanje sithi cos uyaphela.
No, I will never vote for the African National Congress again. I've been voting for them since 1994. But now, they are only refusing to give us 370 rand. Decline. Aye. South Africa is under siege. No. It's been forced to be under siege by these politicians. Aye, Sugam. Anonymous.
Good afternoon, Says Bridget and my fellow listeners. Says Bridget, I'm not expecting anything. So what can be done differently? I'm not expecting anything from the president. More lies, more promises. There will be a certain money that is put aside. There will be billions that is put aside for people to loot. So nothing is going to change. So I'm not expecting anything. Those who are expecting something from him must brace themselves for a heartbreak or disappointment. Let's follow in East London.
You are listening to The Full Circle.
And as we get to the end of the full circle, it's the National Pulse that comes up shortly. And of course, today's show dominated, I think, by 2 things. The Madlanga Commission, 1. There's no ad hoc parliamentary meeting today because of the other thing that dominates the headlines, the State of the Nation address, the SONA. So we'll mix it all up between the 2 and maybe other things as well that are of mutual interest or national interest, including water shortages.